Hi students and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm broadcasting to you live from beautiful Budapest. I hope everybody is having a great Friday or has had a great Friday if it's later in your country. Welcome Charlas, Claire, good to see a new member. Hi Begzod, good to see you in class. All right, students, today IELTS Task 2 Writing, an example for Band 9. This is a members chat class. We have these classes Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. After the members chat class will be an all chat class where everybody can communicate in the chat. And that will be, I believe, speaking part 2, and that's coming up in 90 minutes. Of course, everybody is welcome to watch. Hi, Kisi. Hi, Patricio. Hi, Roshni. Hi, Rahul. Good to see more of our members joining in. All right, everyone. Again, as I always remind our viewers, our materials come from our websites, aehelp.com for academic IELTS. And if you are learning for the general version of the exam, please check us out at gieltshelp.com on both of those sites. We have loads of materials, interactive tests, videos to help you learn the right strategies for English and communication and learning and get those higher band scores. So spend a couple dollars, save yourself a lot of headache and money not having to sit the exam over and over again. All right, if you have questions, members, don't forget, so I'm talking to you members specifically as well right now, send me class requests for these members chat classes to my email, adrian@aehelp.com. I always love seeing those requests, so don't be shy. Okay, make sure you send those requests to my email. And for everybody watching, you can send me questions about our products or about the exam to this email also. So again, right now, task 2, then after this class will be a short break followed by speaking part 2. Tomorrow we have a members chat class. We'll do a listening section with the members, and then we'll do a speaking part 3 for everybody to learn and enjoy. Here is our task 2 question for today. Let's read it together. All right. IELTS writing task 2. You should spend about 40 minutes on this task. Many companies these days do not require their employees to wear formal clothing for work. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of this development. Use explanations and examples to support your opinion. Okay, members. So, this is obviously a persuasive essay. We have to talk about both the advantages and the disadvantages of not needing formal clothes or being able to wear informal clothes for work or at the job. And here's an interesting question. What is the voice of this essay? So what voice? There's, of course, the 3 voices, first, second, third person voice. Which voice should you use for this essay? Okay, I think there's still a lot of confusion among students when you should use the words I and when you should avoid using I, me, my, or personal examples. So what would you guess is the voice of this essay? Okay, Begzod says third, maybe, question mark. Kisi, a little bit more confident. Third, Rahul says, I think it's a third person. Yeah, Begzod, Kisi, Rahul, Roshni, you are all correct. Yeah, this would be a third person essay. So the essay is not asking for examples from your own knowledge or experience. So you can use the third person here well. Okay, so avoid the first person. Again, just look at the question. The question should logically clarify whether it's first person, I, me, my, in my opinion, or I believe, or whether it's a third person. Okay, academic essays more commonly third person. Never use second person. All right, members, can you paraphrase this question for me, please? So can you rewrite this question using your own words, I'd like to see what kind of vocabulary you're able to generate from the original question, as well as to make sure that you do understand what you're writing about. So please rewrite this question in your own words. No, Begzod, if you start in third person, you should not switch to first person in the example. The rule in writing, Begzod and members, viewers, the rule in writing is that a piece of writing or an essay should always maintain the same voice. So if it's first person voice, that should be clear throughout the writing and should never be confused with second person. If it starts as a third person, it should maintain and stay a third person throughout the entire essay. You should never jump around. That can get really confusing for the reader. Okay, I hope that's clear. So I would not do that, Begzod. I would definitely avoid the first person in the example. If your thesis, Begzod, in the introduction is first person, then, but not in this case. Okay, if that's unclear, let me know. Okay, I'm going to do the paraphrasing as well. I'm guessing that some of our members are already working on that. So all right, there's my paraphrase. I see Begzod already has his up. Nowadays, most businesses do not ask their workers to wear formal outfits for a job. Yeah, simple, makes sense, okay? Here's mine. Several businesses nowadays avoid implementing formal attire regulations in their workplace. Explain the benefits and negatives of this new phenomenon. All right, so clothing, another nice way to say clothing in English is attire. Okay, attire is a perfect synonym for the word clothes or clothing. Implementing formal regulation means the rules that the company has for their workers. So that's another good way to paraphrase. Again, always practice this at home, members. Never skip this step, just because it really helps to broaden your lexical resource and expand your English horizons. Kesey says, nowadays, lots of corporations allow their workers to wear informal clothing for work. Discuss the benefits and detriments of this trend. Not detrimental, Kesey. The correct word form is detriments. Detriments, okay? Detrimental is a different word form. Kesey, good job on using the antonym negative. So informal clothing. Allowing workers to wear informal clothing is the antonym negative of not requiring formal clothing in this case. So good job, Kesey, on that unique paraphrasing. I like it. Okay, Patricio, good to see you in class, says some enterprises nowadays do not have a requirement for formal clothing at work. Patricio, it's good. Couple of corrections. Most importantly, Patricio, avoid using contractions in formal writing. Okay, so using doesn't, just spell it out, does not. Okay, really avoid it. The only place to use contractions in the IELTS writing is General IELTS Task 1 Informal Letter. That's the only place where you want to use it, Patricio, okay? Formal letter, Task 1 General, Task 2 General, Task 1 Academic, Task 2 Academic. Don't use contractions, okay? Speaking, we use it. Writing, In formal situations or academic situations, no. All right, keep that in mind. That's for everyone. Roshni says certain companies do not restrict the dress code for their employees at the workplace to be just formal. Roshni, I did a little bit of real-time correction there, but otherwise, very good. So companies do not restrict the dress code of employees to be formal at the workplace. Very good, Roshni, using the word restrict. Absolutely. Harminder, nowadays several organizations do not force their workers to wear formal dress at the workplace. Brilliant, Harminder. I love how all of our members are doing such a fantastic job of coming up in their own original, unique style to paraphrase. And that really shows how your English is developing as well. So good job, members. Really fantastic. Yersalim, numerous organizations nowadays do not demand employees to wear formal clothing for work. Discuss the pros and cons of this circumstance. Brilliant. As many members as we have is as many different kinds of paraphrasing that we see. The human language and mind is beautiful. We understand each other even though we all have our own style. Bonus question real quick, members. What is that called in English, your own style of communication? There's one word for that. Anybody know what the word is? That means your own style of communication. It starts with a D, the word. All right, so let's go to the next step meanwhile, and let's start planning our response. Anybody picking up on my bonus question there? So what's the topic here? Meanwhile, let's start thinking about that as well. What's the topic? What's the controlling idea? Throw it out at me. Don't be shy. What's the topic? What's the topic? What are we talking about? Okay, meanwhile, I'll give you the answer to my bonus question. I think I've had enough time for that. So the word is diction. Okay, diction is the Rahul says formal dress code is the topic. Nope, that's not the topic. Bagzad says formal clothing. Not so much. Kisi, that's more accurate. Yeah, it's workplace attire. Okay. So workplace attire is more what we're talking about than just formal clothing. Okay. So the topic is... Sometimes it's not as clear as with other questions. In this case, it's a little bit more ambiguous, and it's easy to think that we're talking about formal clothing, but we're not actually talking about formal clothing. More specifically, we're talking about workplace attire, okay, or workplace clothing. Or another way to say it is workplace dress code, right? So what's the controlling idea? Yeah, so formal clothing, Roshni, will definitely be more of the controlling idea. There's a little bit more to it than that. So workplace dress code is the topic. Controlling idea is the benefits and deficits of not making formal clothing mandatory. Okay, that would be the controlling idea. All right, that's what we're talking about. Okay, so we can go about this different ways. We can create a chi-square as we've done before. This would be good to do a chi-square. Okay, so let's do that. I'll make a chi-square for this one. This is something you should practice at home on paper. So we'll make our square here. It looks like a window with 4 smaller subsquares or rectangles. And then, of course, you have advantages. You have disadvantages. Okay. And what should I put in these 2 places? So in this row, what should I title that? And what should I title this row here for this question? So I have benefits, deficits, or advantages, disadvantages. And what do I need here to have good planning in these 4 squares for my chi-square? What should I do? Don't be shy, take a guess. It's okay. If you make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. We're here to learn together. Patricio says formal clothing. Yeah, absolutely, Patricio, right? You got to take a stab at it to... So formal clothing and bags on, yeah, informal clothing. Absolutely, because that's really what we're talking about, right? Is wearing formal clothes or not wearing formal clothes, okay? Yeah, because if we discover the advantages and disadvantages of formal clothes versus informal clothes, then we can answer this essay question clearly about the advantages versus the disadvantages of not having to wear formal clothes. So what would be the advantage of wearing formal clothing to the workplace? What is the advantage? Let's start with this square. So this is our first square here. What advantages does wearing a suit or a work dress bring to the employee? How is that beneficial for either the person or the company, right? So think bigger as well. The person or the company. So people do not compete who have cool clothing. Yeah, Begzad, I don't think so. That's more for school. I don't think in the workplace people really care so much to compete with their peers with their clothing. So I wouldn't choose that as my top answer, Begzad. Roshni says it sets a standard for the company. Okay, so sure. So reflects quality of the company. Okay, so that's what I would say is it reflects the quality of the company. Sure. Patricio says protection. I don't know about that. So, I mean, we're not talking about uniforms here. We're talking about formal clothing. So we're talking mostly about suits, dress shirts, and so on. Okay. So we're not talking about like wearing a police uniform or a firefighter's outfit here, Patricio. That would obviously never really change. Those are important for many reasons. Here we're talking about formal clothing. Try to think, okay, so I can see what's going on here now, members. You need to be a little bit careful with abstract ideas, okay? Abstract ideas can be very difficult to explain in the essay in English or even in your own language. So your Salam says to be presentable and dress properly, but that's very abstract, your Salam. So it's kind of like, well, what do you mean? If I work for Google and I have a t-shirt on that says, programmers rock, then I'm still presentable and I'm still dressed properly. It's just not formal. So try to think more quantitatively or something more that we can measure. Okay. Okay, Roshni says there's more unity among workers. That's a good point. Okay. So unity among workers. Absolutely. Okay, that's more measurable. So when everybody in the company is wearing a suit or similar style of formal dress, there's more cohesion, right? Than if one person's wearing a suit, the other person's wearing jeans. Absolutely. Igul says it can save time when you're getting ready for work. Sure, absolutely. I think that's a brilliant idea, Igul. I think you could argue that very well in a short essay. So saves time. You don't have to think about what I'm wearing to work today. You have your work suit, you throw it on, you go to work. That's it. Okay? Rahul, I think you just said the same, unity among workers. Nobody said respect so far. So I'm going to put one more up here, respect, right? When you see somebody wearing a suit and a tie, it tends to elicit respect. Or another way to say it, this is a good word to learn, or verb for you here, is command. Okay? Command respect. So when a person's wearing a suit, they tend to command respect from coworkers, from clients. So your Salam says it gives good reputation, but reputation, your Salam, and respect are not the same. Okay? Be careful about that. Reputation is not a synonym for respect. Those are two different words. Okay? They are in the same kind of family of ideas, but they're two different words. All right? Okay, what are the disadvantages of formal clothing? So, what can be a negative? If we think, the reason why we're thinking of the negative here is because that will help us to figure out the advantages of informal clothing, right? We're only writing about this one and this one here, but thinking about this one can help you get good ideas for the advantages of formal clothing. Okay, so Begzod, right away, of course, that's one that many of us will think of. It's not comfortable, right? Sure, so it's not comfortable to wear for the whole day. So we're talking about the disadvantages of formal clothing, Kisi. So then if we say that the disadvantages is not comfortable, then informal clothing, the advantage would be more comfortable, right? Okay. What else? What else? So I really want you to, members, you've learned a lot from me about essay structure, how to put together the introduction, body paragraph. So I really want to push you today to develop your thinking as well. All right, Rahul, that's an interesting comment. So Rahul says it is boring. Sure, Rahul, instead of thinking of the idea of so it's, yeah, okay, so it's boring. Let's put it here. So then if we go to, so you're on the right track, Rahul. I think you might realize what I'm trying to get you to say here or write in a moment. So if you think boring for the disadvantages of formal clothing, then what's the advantage of informal clothes? Okay, it could be expensive as well, sure. That's a good one, Yersalim, for quantitative information, which means this could be inexpensive. Right? What is another big difference? So if we say that formal clothing is boring, then informal clothes are more vibrant or exciting, sure. There's one more point that's kind of missing. I want you to visualize. So I want you to visualize when you're working in a company and everybody has suits on. And of course, there's usually a popular color, so everybody's got blue suits or everybody's got gray suits. Versus a company, like keep Google in mind. Google is a really good example for this one. Google does not require employees in most of their establishments to wear formal clothes. They can just wear whatever they want. What does that allow the workers. There you go, Yersalam. That's the magical thought that I was hoping you would get to. So individuality, right? Now, let's take that one step further, okay? Because we're talking about the workplace. Don't forget, close at the workplace, right? So let's take this thought one step further. Roshni says independence, right? So let's just play with it. I'm going to leave the board for a second. Let's play with this idea just a little bit more. For a company, is it good to have individuality or is it not good to have individuality within the employees? That's an interesting question. Aigul, that's also true. It may not suit the person as well. So let's think about this concept of individuality. Is it good for a company to have 100 workers who all think as individuals, or is that a bad idea? Okay, Rahul says it's good. Individuality is good. There we go. Patricio, very clever answer. So Patricio says it depends on the company, right? Why did you say that, Patricio? That was some smart thinking. That's exactly what I was thinking as well. Kisi, good. Yeah, right. It depends on the company. What type of company might want individuality to be strong among workers? Company like Google, right? Which is an innovation company where people need to come up with new ideas to make the company better and better, provide newer and newer services, cutting edge, right? So an innovation company like Google or Apple, you'd want your employees to have individuality at some level. Clothing can help with that, right? Some companies where you don't want individuality is where you produce maybe one product where everybody has to stay focused on the same concept. That could be a bank, for example, a finance company, right? Kisi says an advertising company might want individuality, so a dress code would probably be more relaxed there. Absolutely. So you get the right idea. All right, students. So we've definitely, we've gone far down the rabbit hole. That means we've gone the distance to explore these ideas. Now remember, we're just writing about these two, okay? We don't even need to worry about this one. This one we just used to help us here, okay? Because this is the advantages and disadvantages of not having a dress code, right? So the disadvantage of not having a dress code is that you might lose time. People spend a lot of time getting ready. You have lack of unity among workers. You may not reflect the quality of company if you don't have a dress code, right? So those are the negatives, and these are the positives. You feel more comfortable, you're more vibrant. There's more room for individuality and innovation. Okay, hopefully that's clear. If not, let me know. What comes next? What should I do next? If I'm at home practicing, preparing for the exam, what should I do now? Yeah, that's right, Beggs. I'd write the thesis. Okay, so it's a bit of a challenge. You have quite a few different ideas to choose from. Try to choose the best one. So choose the best thesis statement. Very good, Harminder. Kisi Rahul, absolutely. Thesis statement. Choose the best thesis statement. So try to come up with, because obviously you can write a lot about this, right? As we've discovered. So try to write the best thesis for this. That would be a smooth, easy essay. Okay, remember, you have to write about both the advantages and disadvantages of not having a dress code, okay, or of allowing workers to dress as they want, right? So write the best thesis that you can come up with, which you feel will be an easy write with good information that will get you a high band score, or if you're in college or university, a high grade on your essay. Okay, so here's the question again to help you. Okay, so write that thesis. Many companies these days do not require their employees to wear formal clothing for work. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of this development. Okay, target the formal clothing. Careful. I think I might have said informal there a couple times, but target the formal clothing. All right. I'm going to give you a little bit of time, and I'll start writing as well. All right, waiting for your thesis statements. Now, again, students, you should practice being able to produce these thesis statements quickly, okay? And I mean quickly, relatively speaking. You should be able to write a good thesis for an essay question in about 1 minute. Okay, 1 minute is lots of time for one sentence, but it has to be good, okay? And it has to have parallel grammar. So just waiting on your thesis statements for this question. Here's mine. One of the clear disadvantages of not demanding employees to wear formal attire is a lack of quality for the company, but the advantage is an increase in innovation. Okay, that would be a very good thesis for this question. That would be a Band 9 thesis. Okay, just waiting for your thesis statements. I'll structure the introduction meanwhile. All right, Kesey says, although wearing a uniform to work helps the unity of companies, dressing informally makes employees comfortable. Kesey, that works. Your thesis is a little bit different than mine, but I think it works well for this question, and I think you could write a good essay with that, okay? It's a little bit less direct than what I wrote to this question, but it works, so good for you, okay? Yeah. And then, of course, you can explain the advantages, disadvantages. So your body paragraph 1, Kesey, I guess will be about the negatives of not having unity in the company because of informal clothing or not having a dress code. And your body paragraph 2 will be about the advantage of employees dressing comfortably in the workplace. Yeah. Absolutely. So you can write that essay, Kesey, no problem. Okay. All right. So I'll write my hook up here. I can see it's a little bit of a challenging thesis. You're taking a bit of time. Rahul, again, remember, Rahul, don't use contractions, okay? So do not. Companies which do not require formal dress code create more individuality, while the drawback is professionalism. So Rahul, I did a little bit of correction. You are on the right track. So you're going with individuality and professionalism as your 2 points. Rahul, just make sure, it's okay what you did. Just make sure that you want to write about the positive before the negative. Usually people choose the other way. So negative before the positive. It just makes more sense to end on a positive note. So I would go with lack of professionalism as body paragraph 1 and more individuality as body paragraph 2. And then in your thesis, Rahul, you want to switch the order of those 2 points. Begzad says having unity and saving time are the benefits of wearing formal attire in the workplace. However, it also has deficits as it can be uncomfortable and lack individuality. Begzad, beautiful. Okay, so again, another good thesis. You can expand that into your body paragraphs. You have 2 good points for each, the advantage and the disadvantage. It's going to be a long essay, so get ready for that, Begzad. At least 320 words on your essay, if not more, to clearly explain. But I think it's good. All right, I think it's good. Yerusalem says, although having a dress code is beneficial to be presentable or to command respect, right, Yerusalem, and showing team unity, comma, take out the however, Yerusalem, no however, because you already have although in the first sentence. So instead of the period after unity, Yerusalem, use a comma. And then, and showing team unity, comma, it restricts employees from expressing their individuality. And then you have a good thesis, Yerusalem. Okay. Roshni says, the employees feel more comfortable and individual at workplace when they can wear any clothing. However, companies which lack formal dress code also lack unity. Roshni, you're on the right track. You have great ideas. I love your first sentence. You just have a little bit of confusion at the end. There's a little bit of awkward grammar. Okay. Yeah, so Rahul, that's right. If you want to talk about negative first, then you have to say the negative first in your thesis. Okay, good job. Write your hook. This is my thesis again. So one of the clear disadvantages of not demanding employees to wear formal attire is a lack of quality for the company, but the advantage is an increase in innovation. Lack of quality, increase in innovation. So lack of quality is my point 1. Increase in innovation is my point 2. Obviously, I have to explain that clearly in my essay. All right, members, what's your hook? Write your hook for me. Write your hook. Hi, Mariko. Good to see you jump in. You're coming in at a good time, Mariko. You have to write a hook for our question. Our question today is, many companies these days do not require their employees to wear formal clothing for work. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of this development. And there are a lot of hooks that you can write for this, student, so go ahead and write your hook. Okay. There we go. Kesey says, internet finance companies have changed the way employees dress in financial institutions. Kesey, that's quite specific. And I don't know, finance companies still seem very traditional, Kesey. I think finance companies still demand suits and dresses. So internet companies, definitely. I would simplify, Kesey. Don't overcomplicate your hook, Kesey. Just keep it simple. So internet companies have changed the way employees dress in the workplace. That's it. Okay, that's enough. That makes it interesting. I'm going to read your essay if you write that. You don't need to throw finance companies in there. It's awkward. Okay, get it out of there. Bagzod says different companies have various regulations for wearing formal outfit. Yeah, that works, Bagzod. I mean, it's not super exciting, but it's a fact. It'll catch my attention. So different companies have various regulations for wearing formal outfits. I'd probably put an S on that last word, Bagzod, outfits. All right. Here's my hook. Suits and dresses at the workplace is a mistake. Are becoming a tradition of the past. Excuse me. A bit of a sneeze there. So just think modern day compared to in the past, right? In the past, thank you, Begzod. In the past, suits and dresses, that was it. Every company demanded that employees dress formally. These days, not so much. So keep it simple. Suits and dresses at the workplace are becoming a tradition of the past. Okay. And then I'm going to write my background. Ivan, good to see you in class. I love how we just have suddenly members jumping in. Ivan, as more a company includes employees, as more a chance the rule is a uniform in the company. Ivan, that's an opinion, okay? That kind of a statement would very likely come somewhere in your body paragraphs or maybe even in the conclusion. It's a bit of an awkward hook, okay? Keep the hook really basic, Yvonne. The hook, remember, at the very start of your essay, your reader, Yvonne, has no idea what you're talking about, what you want to say about it. So you just want to really clearly throw a fact like this one. Suits and dresses at the workplace are becoming a tradition of the past. So what? Well, I'm going to explain, right? In my writing. Okay, keep going, students. So now I'm going to start my background. Keep with me. Here's where we explain our definitions and so on. Definitions of key terms and the importance of the question, right? So, So now I'm writing a little bit of a more complex high-level band 9 definition here because I always push you to learn, of course. Notice this highly complex sentence. So not so long ago, starting with the time expression, I'm actually linking into my hook here. Most companies demanded their workers to dress in formal suits and dresses. So formal suits, dresses, I'm explaining what this is. I have suits and dresses here, so I might take that out if I'm reviewing at home and say formal clothes or formal wear, because I already have it above. But these days, new age companies, especially in the tech and marketing industry, throwing in an additive clause there, close it off with a comma, have done away with such expectations. All right. Now, I still need a sentence that explains the importance of this. So why is this topic, why is this idea important? Why are we talking about it? So these days, so let's see. Okay, you're solemn. Business companies are encouraging diversity, creativity, and innovation. So dress codes tend to be old-fashioned and less important. You're solemn, that's good. That's almost your argument there. That's almost a thesis there. Okay, but it works for the background too. You're solemn. Bagzod says these days certain organizations such as Google allow workers to put on informal clothes while some industries require them to dress formally. That's good background. That'll work, Bagzod. That's definitely a background one, Bagzod, not a hook. Okay, I'm just want to make sure that you're clear on that. Why is this important? So why talk about this? Again, don't overcomplicate your ideas. So why should we talk about what people wear to the workplace? All right, so I've completed my introduction here at the very, very high end of the Band 9 level, certainly. Okay, and I hope that most of you came to the same realization for why we're talking about this as well. Here's my completed introduction. So suits and dresses at the workplace are becoming a tradition of the past. Not so long ago, most companies demanded their workers to dress in formal clothes, but these days, new age companies, especially in tech and marketing industries, have done away with such expectations. Arguably, employees' attire has a significant, I'm going to go plural on that, or singular, and then I have to put an, right? So arguably, an employee's attire has a significant effect on work performance and the success of the company. One of the clear disadvantages of not demanding employees to wear formal clothes, just because I used attire there, is a lack of quality for the company, but the advantage is an increase in innovation. Okay, that would be a Band 9 introduction. Yeah, Begzod, that works perfect for the importance of the question. So Begzod says this has an obvious impact on the development of companies and the behavior of employees. I'd be a little bit more specific with that noun choice, Begzod. So behavior of employees. And that's right. Roshni says the comfort clothing not only leads to reduced stress during work for the 8 to 10 hours, but also more mental stability. Roshni, use words for 8 to 10. Spell it out. AIGHT, okay, 2, TEN, 10. Words 0 to 10. Use words in task 2. Roshni, that's your thesis. That's not your importance of the question. Kisi says employees not only can choose to wear t-shirts, but also loafers, okay? Not dress loafers. We put loafers onto our feet. So careful with your grammar, Kisi. T-shirts doesn't need a capital T like that, Kisi, unless you're starting the sentence with it. It's just a small t, okay? You don't need the big T. It's not a mistake, but you don't need it. I love, Kisi, how you threw in a correlative conjunction. That's fantastic. Okay, good job on that correlative conjunction in there. Definitely use them. Okay. Okay, so your second sentence, Kisi. Wearing comfortable clothes at the office helps employees to work sufficiently and innovatively, especially people in internet companies, in tech companies or software companies, right, Kisi? Kisi, careful with the work. Okay, so wearing comfortable workplace workers work. Too much work, way too much work, Kisi. You have to replace those words with employees, the job place, okay? So don't repeat the word work. It's not good, even though it's a different word form. All right, members, that's as far as I'm going to take it today. I'm going to schedule another members chat class to complete this task 2. So save it, okay? Put it away for later. We will have another task 2 members chat. We can finish it, I think, tomorrow. I don't think we have some. Oh yeah, we have listening scheduled for tomorrow, so we'll leave it for next week. But put it away, and once complete on my end as well, I will put it on the community board. Okay. Rahul says, because informal dress code is comfortable for individuals, this leads not only to higher efficiency, but also a pleasant feeling environment. Okay, Rahul? Those are some corrections there. All right, members, you've done a good job. This is a little bit of a thinker. Sometimes questions seem really easy, but to write a good essay demands good thinking. So a really important piece of advice that I want to leave you with today is don't rush into your answers. So don't be too quick to say, oh, I know what the answer is. One of the big mistakes that many students make on the IELTS exam is they think they clearly understand the question. They think that it's easy. They start to write quickly, and then they realize that it's not actually that easy. So it's always, always important to have your 2 clear body paragraph points, ideas, before you start writing. Okay, no matter how easy the question might seem at the beginning. So careful, all right? Be very careful. Okay, students, again, for everybody who's watching, you can become a member by clicking the join button beside the subscribe button on the channel. Members, you get access to your 6 full original IELTS practice exams we use in these classes. As well, you can request video or lesson topics. You have 3 classes per week that are unique for you. I will be creating some original emojis for you as well, and some other nice perks. So it's good to be a member. In 30 minutes, we have another class coming up that will be speaking part 2. Everybody can participate in that class. You're very, very welcome, Begzod. You're very welcome, Rahul. Aigul, you're very welcome. Ivan as well. Always good to see you in class. Students, remember to visit and join us on our websites for maximum help to pass the exam. Academic version, aehelp.com. General version, gieltshelp.com. You're welcome, Kisi. See you shortly, students. Bye for now. Thank you for watching.